Hey everybody, this is your Digital Super Saiyan 3 back here with another video, and welcome to my May pay-per-view review. I'm finally getting into it. We are doing WCW Slamboree 1994. Took place May 22nd, 1994 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The Legends Reunion. And it was in the Civic Center in Philadelphia. On commentary, got Tony Schiavone and Bobby the Brain Heenan. But also, you had commentators switch out a few times on this show. You had Gordon Sully on this show. You had Jesse the Body Ventura was on this show. So get ready. Here we go. So, we start off with a whole bunch of legends coming off to be on the show. We got Killer Kowalski, the guy who trained Triple H, and Perry Saturn in China. Then you also got Harley Race was a part of this ceremony, Tully Blanchard, Ole Anderson. There were a lot of legends getting mentioned here because this was a Legends reunion, because you got a plethora of legends. Because this show was all about the legends, but also made time for the wrestlers of today, which this is a 90s show, or the wrestlers that are current. After this, you got Commissioner Nick Bockwinkel calling out Sting, basically telling Sting that we decided to give you back your international world title that you lost in Japan to Ravishing Rick Rude, because Rick Rude, there was the issue of how Rick Rude won the title, and Sting says, no, I don't want to win it like this. I want to wrestle Vader for the belt later on tonight in our main event. So yeah, the main event was signed, Sting versus Vader for the international world title. Yeah, there are 2 world title matches on this show. I didn't know WCW had 2 world titles at the time, especially in 1994, but yeah. So we get into our first match, and it's a really good opening match. You have Stunning Steve Austin with Colonel Rob Parker defeating Johnny B. Bad to retain the WCW United States Championship in a really good match. I mean, Austin and Mark Marrow seem to have some really good matches against each other. I mean, they had that great King of the Ring match from King of the Ring 96, and I'll eventually talk about King of the Ring 96 when I get to it down the line, but they had a good match here as well to start off the show. Austin ended up retaining, and yeah. So, Steve Austin ended up retaining his United States title. A really good match between Stunning Steve Austin and Johnny B. Bad, a.k.a. Mark Marrow. Next up, for our next match on the show, we get a match between Tully Blanchard and Terry Funk. Now, this match ended in a double disqualification, but it was still a damn good match, damn it. Despite it ended with the double DQ, it was still a damn good match between Tully Blanchard and Terry Funk. The crowd in Philly, they were hot for Terry Funk because, this is ECW. This is Philadelphia, the turf of ECW. And you're seeing a WCW show in Philadelphia. And the fans, they love themselves some Terry Funk. And Tully Blanchard himself, Tully looked great in this match, especially for 1994. Yeah, Tully Blanchard looked great in this match. This was a really good match between Tully Blanchard and Terry Funk. Despite it ending in the double disqualification, it still was awesome. And Gordon Sully was on commentary for this match, so, again, awesome. Next up, now that Tony Schiavone just came back for the third match, we got Lord Steven Regal, the WCW World Television Champion, taking on Larry Zabisco in a non-title match. because Regal signed for a non-title match, and this match between Regal and Zabisco, really great wrestling match. I love Regal and Zabisco. This is like the second time on a pay-per-view, like the second pay-per-view I've ever done with Zabisco actually winning. Zabisco gets the victory on Steven Regal, but damn, was this match great. Zabisco looked great in this match. Regal looked great, despite he was the heel, but man, Regal was definitely an underrated heel, underrated worker, really great wrestler. I really wish Regal will get inducted next year for the WWE Hall of Fame. So please, WWE, please induct William Regal. I like Regal. Please induct Regal. But yeah, really good match between Larry Zabisco and Lord Steven Regal. Next up, we get an interview with... We had a few interviews that were leading to who would be Ric Flair's mystery opponent. Ric Flair was with Jesse the Body Ventura, and Ventura interviewed Flair. Flair threatened Rob Parker, saying, "Next time you get into my business, you'll regret it." And Rob Parker would have his interview after Flair, talking about a surprise that you just have to wait and see on who would take on Flair for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. Our next match was a match which was a grudge match, a bull rope match, as Dustin Rhodes defeating Bunkhouse Buck in a bull rope match. And this was an awesome bull rope match. I loved this bull rope match. I mean, sure, some people may not have liked the concept, but I gotta say, this was awesome. This was a very entertaining match from start to finish. Dustin got the victory. I love the ways they used the bull rope, especially attacking the legs. And then, after the match, Dustin gets assaulted by Terry Funk, when Terry Funk hits Dustin in the head with a branding iron. Yeah, Terry Funk had more than one appearance on this show. He had an interview before this match. He had that match with Tully Blanchard, like I talked about. And he was supposed to be involved in the opening of the show, with being on the stage with all the legends, but he didn't show up. And of course, Funk only attacked Dustin because of heat he has with Dustin's old man. And with Dustin's old man, Dusty. And yes, I am aware there was tension between Terry Funk and Dusty Rhodes. And Dustin was only attacked because he's guilty by association with his father. Next up, we finally get to the WCW World Heavyweight Championship match, as Ric Flair takes on a mystery opponent who was revealed to be Barry Windham. And this was an awesome match. You have Barry Windham's strength. You had Barry Windham, who was a big glass of water, compared to Ric Flair. And Ric Flair, he's the smaller of the two, but they ended up having a really good match here. Flair ended up retaining the World Heavyweight Championship by putting the figure four, slapped it on Windham, but Windham and Flair ended up having a great match for this title. Then we also got a WCW Hall of Fame induction ceremony for the wrestlers who were going to be inducted. You have Harley Race, who was the first one to be inducted. The Big Cat Ernie Ladd got inducted. The Crusher got inducted. Dick the Bruiser got inducted, but his daughter accepted the award on his behalf because he tragically passed away. And you had Ole Anderson getting inducted. So, there's that. Next up, we get a broadside bully match for the WCW Tag Team Championships as Cactus Jack teams with Kevin Sullivan to take on the Nasty Boys, Jerry Sags and Brian Knobbs. And this was an awesome match. And you have hockey player Dave the Hammer Schultz as the special guest referee. Because this is Philly, and it is a hockey town. They love the Philadelphia Flyers in Philly. And this was a damn good hardcore match. This was a hardcore match. And I gotta say, despite I'm not a Kevin Sullivan fan, yeah, I cannot believe I actually saw a Kevin Sullivan match I actually liked. And this was a really good match. I'm not a Kevin Sullivan fan, I'll admit that. I'm not a fan of Kevin Sullivan, but this was a damn good match between Sullivan and Jack as the tag team champions. Well, they came into the match as challengers, but won the tag team titles off of the Nasties. I still loved how all four guys beat the hell out of each other. And then the ending after the post-match beatdown they give the Nasties was just incredible. Like, it was a 5-on-2 assault, or 5-on-1 assault, as Knobbs got beaten down by Cactus Jack, Kevin Sullivan, Kevin Sullivan's brother Dave Sullivan, Max Payne, and of course Dave Schultz himself, all beat down Brian Knobbs. And now we got the main event for the International World Title, as Sting defeats Vader, Big Van Vader, to capture the WCW International World Title. And yes, you had Harley Race in Vader's corner because he was Vader's manager. And this was a damn good match between Sting and Vader. I loved every second of this match. This was a great match between Sting and Vader. They always seem to have such good chemistry between Sting and Vader. I think, who is Vader's best rivalry? Is it Sting? Is it Cactus Jack? I'm still guessing on who technically is Vader's best rival. Anyway, comment on the section below and let me know who really was Vader's best rival. Anyway, Sting got the title back and the show just ends. So, overall, it's a really good show to follow up this. This was like the third WCW pay-per-view I did, but the first one I ever reviewed from 1994. And don't worry, I plan to do more 1994 WCW shows when I get to it. Anyway, this has been your Digital Super Saiyan 3, and I'll see you guys later in June for WWE's Capital Punishment 2011 in June. See ya!